Who's scruffy looking?
Welcome back to the Talking with My Hans channel, everybody, for another Talking with My Hans book review club video. This is back-to-back weeks. We got great Star Wars books to review on the channel, courtesy of Disney Publishing. Thank you very much to them for sending me these books a little bit early so I can get these reviews out to you guys. A little bit late on this one because, you know, you guys are working, man. I do have to work, but I tried to get through this book as quick as I could, and it really wasn't that hard because it was so good. Of course, I'm talking about the newest addition to the Star Wars canon, Star Wars Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising, by the one and only Timothy Zahn. And if you were wondering, yes, of course, this is the book with the blue pages. So cool. I know the blue pages are like this little novelty item in this book, but to be honest with you, they're so cool. I can tell all my friends that this book has blue pages and they don't care at all, and I just love it. It's fantastic. The book, though, did it go without any fault? Was this book all sunshine and rainbows, or were there parts of this book that I just didn't like that much? Of course, you're gonna have to watch to find out. Star Wars Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising is the first book in the newest Thrawn trilogy written by the one and only Timothy Zahn. It's also in the early running for the longest book title of the year award. Not really, but if that was a thing, I'm sure this would be. Set 19 years before the Battle of Yavin, Thrawn is a rising young officer in the Chiss Ascendancy defense fleet. An attack on the Ascendancy spooked some of the higher-ranking members of the 9 ruling Chiss families, and they dispatched Thrawn to seek them out. With his comrade Admiral Aralani, he begins to unravel the mystery of the attackers and reveals that the mysteries in the deep space chaos are only just beginning for the Ascendancy. Chaos Rising is not only one of, but the single deepest dive into a part of the galaxy and a people that haven't yet received a lot of attention outside of the Skywalker saga. Timothy Zahn has been duly noted as a top author in the arsenal of writers at Lucasfilm's disposal, but with this new book, Chaos Rising, he might have just vaulted himself to the top of the list. No other author in Star Wars right now has such a grasp on characters, world building, and dramatic tension like Zahn does. I wish I could tell you one bad thing about this book, but I really can't. This is only the second book I've mentioned on this channel to have no flaws that are worth mentioning, and this one is totally deserving. The thing that immediately stuck out to me about this book, literally from page 1, was that Timothy Zahn's world-building ability is the bar when it comes to Star Wars literature. This is the first book I've read in my life with a dramatis personae. If you're not familiar with what that is, I don't blame you. It's a list of all the main characters in a certain work. Zahns also includes important titles and families in the Chiss Ascendancy, which is very helpful considering this is all new material. So quite literally, even from before the first chapter, Zahn had me hooked. One of the more unique elements in this book, and something Zahn has done with a lot of success before, is use past memories of the main characters to help tell his stories and further develop the depth of each of those characters. In Thrawn Alliances, he uses Thrawn's old memories of meeting Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars to help provide some context to his relationship with Vader. It made that book really gripping, and Zahn uses more of the same tactics here. Instead of flashing back to Thrawn's old memories, he goes between the other main characters and shares some of their experiences with a younger Thrawn coming up through the ranks. Not only does it help drive the narrative, but it also gives some much needed context in confusing parts of the book. Another thing I really enjoyed about this book, and something I didn't realize I really liked until I looked back on it, was not ever actually getting inside Thrawn's point of view. At no point in this book do you ever see any situation from the point of view of Thrawn himself. One of the staples of Zahn's other Thrawn trilogy was getting to go inside his tactical mind and see how he sees certain situations. Despite him very clearly being the main character in this book, he is never the one who carries the story. As a reader, I thought this was brilliant because it allows us to relate more to the people around him and see how the common folk of the Chiss Ascendancy view Thrawn and his tendencies. This is in no way a spoiler, but one of the main storylines in this book is Thrawn's political relationship with the 9 ruling families of the Ascendancy and his future as a military leader. So, at least in my opinion, it's genius to have the points of view be on the outside looking in.
However, on a more realistic entertainment level, the book is just a compelling read for any Star Wars fan. Have you ever watched a TV show where you just have to see the next episode, or a movie you just can't take your eyes away from? Seldomly do I ever come across a book where I can't stop reading. This was one of them. I know it took me a while for this video to come out, but every night I was reading, I had to force myself to sleep because I couldn't bring myself to simply put the book down. Timothy Zahn leaves every chapter on just the right amount of suspense to keep you turning page after page after page. That is a true master of the craft. So the final verdict for Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising is an astounding must-buy. Not only is it an incredibly compelling and deeply rich reading experience, but it's also the furthest story away from the Skywalker saga that we have in the current canon. If anyone wanted a peek into the future of what kinds of stories lay beyond the Skywalker family, this is the kind of thing I would expect. Deep stories in unknown new worlds with complex characters. What did you all think of Chaos Rising? I can't wait for book 2, and if you can't either, make sure you leave a like and a comment, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.